Hello, this is Misery Loves Company, a weekly social reading series hosted by miserytourism.com. Every Friday, we welcome outsider and transgressive writers to come and share their work with us. And it's Friday, and almost no one is signed up, but we're doing this thing. Fuck it. Uh,
We're
so
light on
Rudy,
readers
you're up
today.
first, and you
Oh
have
yeah.
a demo question mark? You have a gaming project.
Yeah, I guess. Um, this is basically, and I'm going to share my screen in a little bit. So let me give you a history, an in-depth history of my D&D campaign that's going on right now. So basically, um, it takes place in a wizard's tower, like you do in Dungeons and Dragons, and so they're working for the big bad evil guy because I made this big bad evil guy character, or the one I usually use in most of my campaigns, and the players joined her and decided to raise hell. So,
You're not
yeah.
sharing your screen right now, brother.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to
All right.
give the backstory. Thanks though. But basically the players joined this character. Now they're doing rape and war crimes and shit. And but the main crux of the campaign is this magic wand item that lets them go inside other items. So basically, I made this dungeon generator to generate the little worlds that take place inside the other items. Which we ever played the game Disgaea, of some obscure JatScat JRPG. I don't know, it's not that obscure, but it's a tactics type RPG, and fucking they have this item thing that you can go inside like your potion and level it to 99 or fucking whatever. So that's it's based on that sort of. But anyway, this is what I've been working on for the past week or so. Let me see if I can share here. Yeah. Do you guys see it or?
Yep.
Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and restart this so I can explain to you what the hell it actually does. Yeah. Okay, so hold on, let me get my screen right here. Gotta get my oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Hide the thumbnail view. Oh, small. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so basically, I wanted something that generates random dungeons, but I didn't want to just use a standard dungeon generator because that would be super easy. It would be too easy, right? But also thematically, I didn't really like, when you get a random dungeon generator. Like, let me just random dungeon generator. I'll just show you what one generally looks like, just for the uninitiated. This is a typical random dungeon generator. You hit random dungeon. You can set up little queries or whatever, like what you want. I'm not even sure what these are, but you can change the layout here. It's just like a cavern, or like, this one is like boxy rooms. They're all rectangular and shit. Now you make it more symmetrical or less. You can do stuff. I didn't design this one, by the way. This is whoever the fuck designed this one. I guess it's Drow who designed this one. Thanks, Drow. Um, yeah, so this is a typical random dungeon generator, and it does a good job, generating rooms and doing the stuff. It just isn't what I wanted, because I wanted something more inspirational that I could take the dungeon, because I don't know what's gonna be happening each session. I never planned the sessions because I don't give a shit, and so I needed something that was gonna inspire me on the fly or something. So this is basically a MS Paint tool that I can use to draw a thing, and then it will put a dungeon inside of it by magic, basically. So what should I draw? Anybody have any ideas of what kind of item? I mean, there's always a penis, I know, but am I supposed to draw?
Let's hear from the
I think you
chat.
should do a penis.
Okay, it
Penis,
sounds like it's a penis. Sounds like
penis,
there's
okay.
broad consensus.
What color should the penis be? Like, I got all these colors here. Like a black
I think
penis
it
is
should
obvious.
be black.
There you go. Yep, awesome. Thanks, bro. Let's see. So I'm gonna draw a black penis. Nobody make fun of my penis. It's really bad, but don't make fun of it, please. Woo. I'll put a little bit of hair on it because that's too small. Let's go with this. So basically, I made this program to help me draw penises more bigger. Should be coming or no? Actually, well, we'd have to have Black Crit to come.
I think it should be coming.
You think it should be coming? Okay. Let's fill the penis in until everybody, fill a little bit of it in at least, so that it's, we know that it's a black penis. The balls we won't fill in yet. So yeah, so we can put a little bit of cum on it, and it's coming all. It's got like cum. See, it goes into the white, but it'll figure it out. So what else should there? Any other features? You think it should have a cock ring or something like that, or? I think it should have a cock ring, honestly. So we'll put like a little something right there. I think that's a penis, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop drawing and I'm gonna hit enter. Well, actually, first of all, so this is a penis. So what is its intended use? So the choices we have are clothing, a weapon, a tool, furniture, device, which would be like a key or like
I
something
think it's
like
a
that.
weapon.
Okay, I actually want to vote on this one in the chat. I
Okay,
want
yeah,
everyone
vote
to
on it.
weigh in on the chat, especially
Okay,
between
yeah.
weapon, tool, and device, or raw.
Raw, I figured is like raw materials or something like that, but raw could definitely apply to a penis, like
Oh, I need
ODB
to.
said, oh, baby, I like it raw.
I'm going to vote.
So let's see here. If somebody can look in the chat, because I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay.
It's right now. It's a tie between raw and tool.
Raw and
No. Yeah, damn it! It's still a tie between raw and tool.
Okay.
I guess you, Rudy. I guess you break the tie.
I'm going raw. We got to do it raw, right?
Okay. All right.
So this is what it's generated from that. Well, actually, okay. So that's what its intended use is, right? What is it being used as now in the campaign, like this second, when they are touching it with the magic wand to go inside of it? What's its in practice use? And you can vote on that one too if you want, or I could just say tool, since that's the other one that seems.
Yeah. Since that was the second place.
Okay. So this is the little
So
thing.
it's a raw tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the little blurb that it generated. Like,
yeah, actually, now that I know that one is what it is and the other is what it's being used for, I feel like you should reverse those. I feel like that it's a tool being used for raw. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Raws transform into versatile, quirky tools. So basically, when you go inside the dungeon, what that means is like any raw materials that were inside there, they transform into tools, which is very appropriate since we have a penis. Raw material like an onion could transform into a dick, or like a fucking a bolt of cloth or whatever is now a cock. Your rations or whatever now cock. So that's cool. So now that I have that, I'm going to start to generate.
It's for raw dogging.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that seems like obvious. Like, yeah, it's definitely like, like I said, ODB, man, that's the thing. So yeah. So now I'm going to start to generate. So what it's done is it's put all these little dots here, and now and this is the cum, as you can see. That's part that I drew on there too. That's the cum dribbling. So now it's going to connect the dots as I go down here. I can keep pressing enter to connect the dots. It's going to connect the dots, and this red area that you're seeing, this is where it's actually going to basically overlay the dungeon on top of it. So it's just making little rooms and little like connections here. So I think that looks pretty good to me. It's not the whole surface area of the penis, but it's based on the penis. So there you go. Okay, now I'm gonna see all these dots. I can remove some of them if I want to. So I'll move a fair amount just so you get like not everything's. And these are all points of interest here. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so here's the dungeon. And I'm going to generate a couple of times. So I can hit Q and I'll just adjust like what it looks like basically. Because what it's basically done is I have this tile set that I use to make it. And it's putting new things. It's randomizing the tile set right now. So now we've got, I of course made the tile set, as you'll see. There's like a toilet there. There's a bunch of like typical stupid shit. So that's what it looks like right now. So you can see there's like little rooms sort of, but you can also see there's the tile set has like features to it, like there's that gravestone, or what the fuck is that? You can have stuff like Christ, is that like a fetus or something. I don't know. But you can also have points of interest on here. And these are basically for me as the GM to just to inspire things. So the players would basically, I would print this out, which I'll show you how I'll do that in a minute, but print this out and the players would get a blank map with none of these points of interest on them. And I would get the full map with the points of interest. And with that, I would just be, as they explore, like, say, this area, let's say, oh, we'll go north on the penis or whatever. And they get into this area and they get to ink pots. Okay. So you say, like, hey, you find some ink pots, or maybe I have to describe like a mossy woodland glade, like what it looks like. This room here might, have some urticating hairs in it. I guess, is that what they call the hairs on the penis? I don't know, like pubic hairs, I guess. Or it might have a monster in it like this. So this is let me see if I can I'm going to double click on this. I don't know. Can you see that when I double click or no? Can you see Wikipedia right
No.
now?
Yes,
Okay.
I do see Wikipedia now.
You see Wikipedia? Okay, gotcha. So this is basically like, because some of these things I don't know what they are because I just took this from a random list that I assembled through various means. And so that one, like a siren, so like you might, like that could be the mythology, or it could be like a literal siren, like a fucking, civil defense siren or something. And basically that's that, but now I can go to print it if I wanted to. So I'll save that dungeon. And now what I can do is, this is the screen where you actually print it on. So I need to put this through my printer, and I'll take the dungeon image, blow it up, and now I can scale it up for printing basically. And as you can see, you got the full penis. So there's the cock ring. I guess it stands out a little bit more, whatever. But again, this is the copy that the players would get, so there's no points of interest on it. But yeah, that's pretty much that. And what I would do then is basically, if I wanted to go back, and I could choose the file again. So I choose the image. Oops, did that wrong. Actually, I should have chosen first I have to load my save up, which has all the dot data and stuff in it. So I'll do that, load the dots up, load the dungeon, and load the object image. And what I can do now is, let me show you how this works. It overlays the penis over top of it. So what that does for me basically is, if there's something special, like say the cock ring, like now we know that this part of the image that you can see here, that's the cock ring. So like once they get to the cock ring, maybe that has special properties because it's made of gold or something. Maybe this is the treasure area in here, and this is like the cum part. So maybe this has, they get down here. There's like what there's dumbbells in here. There's an Ashavens, which I'm not even sure what the fuck that is. Let me see what that even is here. But oh, okay. It looks like it's some kind of Hindu mythical thing, or maybe some kind of Zoroastrian mythical thing. I don't know. But yeah, so basically what this overlay does is let me, like, if there were blood stains on it or something, like it would let me see that and like look and say, oh, I'd be inspired by a blood stain or by a cum stain or by a golden cock ring, of what to put in that area when the players explore it. And that's largely it. We can try another one if you want. Anybody else have any requests of what to draw? I mean, I've already drawn a penis.
Okay. Come on, let's hear it from the chat. Unfortunately, our boy the troll was acting up and impersonating Ramona, so he has been
Oh, rip.
There you go. Sarah's helping out.
Okay, I can't see the chat, so
And Sarah is suggesting the other form of genitalia.
oh, okay. Well,
no,
I hope I can.
won't, Sarah.
So not a penis, but a spider's a cloaca. I don't know. So anyway, let's see what we can do. Oh god, I hope I can draw a vagina. I'm gonna reveal how much of a fucking virgin retard I am. Let's see. So that's something like, oh nope, I already fucked it up, guys. I already fucked it up. So let's honest, it's a little big. I don't know, fucking off shit. I've already yes. So okay. So let's draw some here on there. And I'll draw some. This is gonna be a little bit more challenging because I can't actually put fleshy color into it. But I'm not sure which one is fleshy color. I think it's this one. Oh no, that's not exactly fleshy color. That's not exactly fleshy. Which one is fleshy color here? Maybe I don't have fleshy color. This will have to do, I guess. And we'll put a little. I wish I had pink, but I don't, and I can't mix the colors, so it's just like whatever. That looks like shit, actually. That looks literally like shit, like the literal shit. So that's cool. Neat. Put some flesh in here. Put some flesh out here too. This should be an interesting one because it's got a lot of surface area, and I'm also filling the whole thing in, so that'll make the generation a little different because it'll have more area in here to. Okay, actually, let's make some red in here. I don't know. Maybe she's on the old period or something. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, so make some red. You know, what do you think, Sarah? Does that look?
That looks like a bag of McDonald's fries with ketchup.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm revealing my true intentions here. Oh, shit. It's fucking Mickey D. Let's go. Oh shit. Average. There you go. Oh boy. So this is a real Bechdel test for me because or whatever, because now I reveal that I don't know what a vagina looks like.
Or
whatever.
You've revealed preference for McDonald's fries. I mean,
yeah, or I really want some. I actually do want some McDonald's, actually, not to distract. Let's draw some cum in here, I guess. I don't know. There you go. Okay, Joe, a little cum in here. Okay, so let's see. Start the generation. Okay, so now let's put like dots everywhere pretty much because like I said, I colored that in all the way. So let's start generating. Keep in mind the red part is, well, the light red part is going to be where it generates the dungeon. So yeah, it's also placing dots, red dots for monsters and stuff, or for inspirational stuff. Cool. Oh, this is going to be pretty wild, actually. A lot of stuff there. Okay, I'm gonna hit escape, and now I'm gonna delete some points here. Let's make like a very sparse vagina here. There you go. Several times. We'll hit enter. Oh damn. Okay. So that's interesting. I'm gonna queue a couple times here. Just see, I like that already, honestly. But I'm gonna invert those colors. Oh wow, yeah, I like that. All right, so I'm gonna say keep queuing. Tell me when to stop. Oh, I've already seen a lot of things here that I like. But somebody tell me when to stop.
What would stop me? That would just be the final dungeon design.
That would be the final. Oh,
fuck. Oh wait.
okay.
Well,
Okay, I'll do it again.
Yeah, I don't think we've got time. I think we're good. Just stop wherever. I don't think
there we go.
I think the latency will prevent.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Stop.
All right, so
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, wow. We must be way out of sync then. Oops. But this is the final dungeon. Okay. So now we gotta decide what the intended use is. So again, like, yeah, is it clothing, a weapon, tool, furniture, device?
Let's vote in the chat.
Let's see.
Okay, we've got 1 vote for weapon, 1 vote for furniture, 2 votes for weapon.
Okay, weapon or furniture.
2 votes for furniture.
There you go.
3 votes for furniture.
Oh yeah. You know, I'm just gonna call it furniture.
Okay.
And also keep in mind, what is its actual use? What is it being used for right this second by the player party who found it or whatever? So we have the choice: clothing, weapon.
I think weapon was the second place.
That was the second place. Okay, we'll do weapon then. Okay, so that would generate furniture harbors ancient spirits, enabling communication with objects. Ooh. Okay, so basically it's inside the vagina. You'll be able to talk to any object that you find in there. So that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at some of the objects that you find in here, like you do. a tanuki. No, isn't that tanuki? Isn't that like a one of those raccoons with the big testicles or something? I guess I'll put it in here. But oh, that's not very helpful. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty. We'll say it's one of those. I mean, why not, right? What else do we have? We have divine symbols in here. Oh boy. Loch Ness monster is in here. Hell yeah. Let's see. Thrones are in here.
Fucking
Boy,
Loch Ness monster just swimming around in there.
right? Parchment is in here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this vagina. So yeah, like okay. So one more thing, I'm going to print this out. And then I'm going to restart. Now let's see what the overlay looks like. I'm just really curious as far as that. Okay, so there is the data for that dungeon image. There's the object image. So we got our furniture thing. So that's the original. As we can see, you've got all the, where's that tanuki? Oh, fire pits. There we go. Interesting. There, there's the overlay. So yeah, you got a pretty bloody, cummy mess in the center. So what I would say if I were using this for a real map is basically like if I just look at this, like this part out here, if you just look at that, that looks kind of fleshy, right? This looks very organic, like an organic dungeon, like something, you know, with like flesh on the walls and shit like that, you know, like flesh for walls, like a Doom dungeon or something like that. So what I would probably say is like all this, you know, organic looking shit is just flesh. And I would say probably inside like a river of blood runs through it or something. That's where the Loch Ness monster is swimming at, I guess, in that river of blood. There's an enchanted waterfall right in this, almost right in the center.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah. So
A lot
that
of aquatic theming here.
aquatic theme, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Yeah, that's basically how the thing works. Essentially, it's to inspire, as I said, me to come up with something. Like I said, just looking at this, I can be inspired to come up with a little dungeon or something. So cool.
I mean, I'm certainly inspired looking at it.
Margaret Atwood, don't kill me.
Man,
Actually, no,
that's
kill me.
truly wild
Sorry.
shit. I like the fact that you're able to draw the you're able to actually dictate the outline of the dungeon yourself, because as you said, these generic dungeon makers generally, it's always like, you know, it's always the same like series of rooms, you know, it's always that same sense of like, oh, okay, it's a bunch of rooms connected by hallways. And just like when you're playing a session with one of those pre-generated maps, you can almost anticipate where like the traps are going to be and where everything is going to be because of the genericness of it. So it's actually really cool to have the option to generate something that's somewhat randomized, but still not from one of those very obvious generic templates.
Yeah, I basically wanted something that I could print out quickly too. I mean, like on a printer, I'd have to still resize it for the printer, but I needed, like I was drawing these by hand basically, minus what I would do is basically like outline the object and then I'd put dots inside the object and connect the dots. And that's what I was doing. That's what I've been doing for the 5 sessions or so of it. And also it didn't have the cool, you know, pixel artwork because I'm not that good at drawing by hand. So, but yeah, that's what I've been doing.
No, it's very
previously.
cool. I love the randomly generated points of interest too. That was always one of my favorite things. Like on the rare instances when I ran a ran a module or a randomly generated dungeon or something, though, as it, like more than the fucking wandering monsters or anything, it was like the random points of interest that like, ooh, there's a mystical fountain in this room, what does it do? Like that element of weird random atmosphere was one of the coolest things about running a dungeon in D&D that I didn't like design myself, right? And so I like that that's present here, and present here in a way that is That's a lot more random than than what you would get from rolling on a table in the Dungeons Master's Guide or something.
Cool. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
man. Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah,
Also,
thanks,
I
man.
have an Alexis in the waiting room. So if that's somebody's friend or loved one, let me know and I will let them in. But there's been too many trolls tonight, and it's like Alexis and then an initial, and it just seems like a troll, frankly. I may maybe it's Adam Johnson or fucking Gigi or something. I hope not. Anyway, that was great, Rudy. And Keith is up next.
Thanks, William. This isn't quite as graphic as Rudy's. It's a piece I started.
Not quite.
You just have to use your imagination. It's a piece I started last May and a year ago, put it aside and finished it a few weeks ago. Its title is tied into a song that was made popular by the Spinners, 1978. It's titled Working My Way Back to You, Babe, with a Burning Love Inside. He's heading down the rabbit hole. Is he a person like he just read about? Maybe. What is wrong with him? How did he start with a New York Times editorial about stan culture and end up with Eminem and Dido? How did he get over 500 million views behind? Weren't those the years when he was up to his eyeballs in YouTube and many genres of music? And he really liked Eminem and Dido separately. He knew their music. Somehow he must have missed it. Trying to figure out stan and whatever this stan culture is may just drive him crazy yet. Should he really be caring about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard at this point in his life? Did he ever care about pop culture icons and their troubles? Well, there was Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, but that was too early in his life, and he has no clue why his grandmother mentioned them while they were watching Peyton Place together one night. Lordy, how old is this writer? Get more current, or no one is going to care about, much less believe in, what your stories are about. Later, though, you'll have to go down that side tunnel in the rabbit hole and investigate that collaboration between Eminem and Dido. He couldn't wait, though. The link took him to YouTube, and after he was allowed to skip the 2 commercials, the song started. Oh, yeah, he remembers this. That must have been over 20 years ago. My, how time flies. When he looked down and saw in the highlighted comments, they really cleaned this song up, he knew exactly what that meant. So immediately he left the Google world and went to Pandora. When he saw the capitalized red letter E explicit beside the title, he knew that this was the version he needed to hear. So he started the song and opened the lyrics to follow along. Why did he waste his time with Google YouTube? As he listens to the song and the lyrics, he wonders, has he never, ever even truly listened to the lyrics of songs? He brags all the time about being a reader, but not a writer. And then he starts writing, and now he's paying attention to words. And words not just in books and stories and poems. Sure, the beauty of songs is in melodies and sometimes short, memorable lines. But if he's such a big time reader, why didn't he ever spend the time to really read and listen to lyrics? Oh, by the way, this is a really good song, especially now that he's reading along and thinking about the lyrics. They're powerful. He thinks that he's listened to the lyrics in a few songs, though, when he could make them out. He didn't always have A to Z lyrics and genius and the World Wide Web, but that's no excuse. But remember how long it took for him to figure out Jimmy saying shaker of salt in Margaritaville? And even today, if he hadn't listened to the original Tears for Fears Mad World countless times and then researched it like he was writing a thesis, he still wouldn't know that they were saying enlarging your world. Quit beating yourself up, Keith. You just didn't listen. This isn't the end of the world. It's just another opportunity to enlarge your world and grow up some more. And maybe you'll understand stand culture. The box of love letters are well hidden in a closet, but one day they'll be discovered and read. They are letters straight from the heart, pure, unadulterated expressions of love and lust. And every Wednesday night for 8 months, their love was sealed. They, at least he, could not live without each other from Monday morning until Friday evening. There's more than one reason Wednesday is called Hump Day. Racing down the highway in his four-door Ford Maverick, windows down, FM blasting through the Pioneers, the song would always play. I'll be working my way back to you, babe, with a burning love inside. And that's all that he would hear and think about, going and coming. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach, they say, but the way to a woman's heart is through Del Taco. He knew. And that's the way it was. By 6 p.m. every Wednesday, they were snuggled together in the front seat of the Maverick, heading towards Del Taco. And even today, many years later, almost every Saturday, they are sitting down together in one of their favorite Mexican restaurants. Some things never change, only now the Maverick is in the graveyard. He thinks about his friends and those still looking for love and those that lost their love. Love is a wonderful dream and a nightmare, and a wonderful dream and a nightmare. It mirrors life. We all chase it, we catch it, it escapes, and we chase it again over and over. The chips and salsa are almost finished. The chimichangas and enchiladas are the entree. And then we're done with dinner, but the night is only just beginning. At 5 a.m. the next morning, sadly, he'll be heading back to where he came from, listening to Working My Way Back to You, Babe, and thinking about Friday afternoon at 5:30. He is head over heels in love. Some things are etched in our memories forever and hidden in boxes and closets. We'll remember memories. We'll forget stand culture. They say that you're only as old as you believe you are, but if you never grow up, you can live in youth forever. So stay young, and if you haven't found love, keep looking. You can find it, even if it may be in the wrong places. That's it.
Keith, you mentioned in this piece that it made you feel old, but it also made me feel old when you said that Stan was 20 years old. That I was listening to that in high school. Oh God. But man, this piece is great. This piece is fantastic, Keith. And one thing I like about it is that you managed to, by like taking these different cultural moments, you managed to create a piece that was like just as nostalgic for you and someone from your generation as it was for me and someone from my generation. And that sense of like there being this kind of cultural commonality, like that youth is on some level experienced the same way, regardless of what generation you're from, I think is a I think is a really great insight that you've woven into this. And above and beyond that, though, as usual, like your self-deprecating, self-aware humor really shines through here. And it's just a really warm, wonderful piece about, and it's often pieces about nostalgia or somehow inherently like bitter, even if they're bittersweet, and like there's a little bit of like sense of negativity and loss to them. But this is a kind of like nostalgia as pure sweetness mixed with like a little bit of self-deprecating humor, and I dig that. I think it's a great piece, Keith. Thank you.
Thanks, William. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
And Jeff is up next. And there's no one signed up after Jeff. So if anyone who is here would like to read after Jeff, just put it in the chat.
All right, let me see if I can put this in the chat. I don't know if this is gonna work.
Yep, works
So
perfectly.
yeah, this is just some shit I've been messing around with. I'm calling it the decolonization of the Caribbean. It's 3 poems, and cut me off if this gets too long, please. So this first one's called Hurricane Curly. It was a dad bod beach day. 13 black cats crossed the path. A resident jumped off a cliff into the Caribbean Ocean. Stray dogs bit the children. The locals are screaming. It's Easter and they rumba. Blood and bunnies. Earth, wisdom, physics. Dios, Dios, like a Hitler speech from 1940. Senor, hallelujah, hallelujah. The king of the Jews, worshipped by poor brown children. Something is sad about this island. The gods burn themselves in the sand, surfed off into the sunset after the party on the playa, replaced by the god from Brooklyn. The birds are indifferent. Darwin said they don't consider it work, shrieking and killing for food, tweeting that the weak should fear the strong. High time these people got it together. The golden rule was beaten into them. Can't vote your way out of this situation. They burned the sugar mill down in 1940. Should have drawn the line in the sand. And when the conquerors crossed it, the rifles may be Catholic, but the machete don't speak no Spanish. So the next one's called Comrades of the Caribbean. We drank rum outside the market in the morning. John talked about his boat repairs. Peter expressed concern over the hotel dumping water. The fish were swimming in chemicals. Asked the person for $1. A tourist gave us a half pack of cigarettes. I don't normally smoke, but these were Montegos. Drank more piss rum until lunchtime. We walked to the food truck where they made sandwiches, ordered chicken wings. John bought some red beans and rice. We ate and sang children's songs because we were drunk. Tonight, the chicken fights. John and Peter heard secrets about who was feeding their birds best. I knew Bobby didn't feed his very well. I would only bet $3 on that cock. We bought beer and went to the arena. Tourists took up the good seats. We muscled our way to see the action. The Condor won. Bobby's chicken beat the odds. God damn. After midnight, the tourists ran to their cars. We swilled more beer in the lot. Someone put on some music. We talked loudly until the sun came up. They asked us some questions about our island. We've been here so long, we gave standard answers. But one man asked a serious question. Why do you like socialism so much? John told him of his son, who died while fishing in the rough waters, how Russia had sent a card signed from high authority, paid for the boy to be buried in the cemetery. And fuck it, I'll read the last one, for better or worse. This one's called You Fucking Little Monkey. At the end of the day, Scarface was a gusano anyway. Better off cruising. Say hello to my little friend. I missed the last leader by a mere hour. His neck was broken in the garrote. Just before I could fund the revolution. Miami cigars are the worst. The traitors' hands shake too bad. To roll the way Fidel had taught them. And oh, those Los Escuelitos living over in Doral. Florida can keep them all. Hugo Chavez was microwaved by the CIA and those cowards who think they are the only one and only. All right, that's it.
Jeff, these are fucking fantastic, man. I fucking love these. I love like I love the way you've composed these because, like, first of all, there's an incredibly vivid sense of place here, and it's communicated very efficiently. And I think there's often a tendency in poetry that's like about a foreign nation to incorporate a lot of color, you know, a lot of like color in terms of like a lot of atmospheric description, a lot of like non-English words, and a lot, and there's this real often like when you read one of those works, you're like drowning in excessive atmosphere. And here, though, you're able to create a very vivid and intense sense of place while also being extremely efficient and concise in your language, which I really fucking dig. But above and beyond that, I love the way you've handled the politics of this poetry, because these are on some level political poems, but they're not political poems. You know, there's a real sense that the politics here is a function of character, as a function of the lives these individuals are living. And man, I love the final stanza of the Comrades poem about like socialism, where like there's this where this abstract political question is asked, and instead of responding with something ideological, the poem responds with a really intimate and personal story. And you realize, like, yeah, that's how everyone experiences life. That's how people actually experience politics, not as an abstraction, not as an ideological thing, but as an experience they had, an intimate personal experience they had in the past that like colored and shaped that. And these are just fantastic, Jeff. I really love them, honestly, man.
Oh, thank you, William. I appreciate your
Oh, I think you froze up. Or did I freeze up? Can you guys still hear me?
I still hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so
Jeff, I think may have frozen. But no, Jeff, that was amazing. I don't know if he's here. Oh no. But
well, you can if you have
yeah,
comments,
that's fair.
if he's not here, you can oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh, okay.
did I cut out? My bad. I just said basically thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I love the Hugo Chavez was microwaved by the CIA and those cowards who think they are the one and only. And that's a great end to the last one. And also the cockfighting stuff of the interlude there is really, man, that's classy, very classic and classy. Yeah, I love it.
Thanks, man. I'm having some internet issues, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. So we have nobody else signed up. So would anyone like to read? I'm going to leave a few seconds here. If anyone has a piece they would like to read.
I can read my thing.
There we go. I knew.
There you go. I was gonna say, I
Sam,
see
when you
Sam's
joined,
iPhone
I
in
knew
here.
you had something. Yeah. All yours. And if anyone would like to read after Sam, just put it in the chat.
Wow.
Give me 1 second. Okay, I got it. I've read this here before, earlier versions of it, and the final one's not that different, but it's called True Expression, and it came out on Expat Press last Friday. On April 3rd, 2019, Depression Simulator made its debut on the Steam store. It sold a total of 12 copies that quarter, and the development studio, Firaxis Games, not Firaxis, the creators of Pirates, Civilization 1, Sid Meier's Pirates, Civilization 2, Civilization 3, and the like, dissolved at the start of that autumn. Firaxis Games was made up of 3 classroom friends, Jonathan Lehrer, David Kaczynski, and Mark David Chapman, who created it as a parody. David, we were at Columbus Bar one night talking about simulator games. There are dedicated communities for games like Truck Simulator. You just drive a big rig in real time across the US. All design decisions are for mechanical accuracy. The graphics are almost redundant. Like it's all secondary to the mechanics of the game itself. I'm not sure if they even qualify as games. They're job training. Jonathan. And there was that game, Goat Simulator, which is just a parody, but cut off by Mark David Chapman. We thought it would be funny to make a depression simulator as a parody of both a game and a simulator. But you could, through playing it, learn how to have depression. In its first iteration, players would guide their avatar through minigame tasks, such as getting out of bed. Getting out of bed knowing that they had to brush their teeth. Getting out of bed knowing that they forgot to brush their teeth the night before. Brushing their teeth without feelings of regret and embarrassment. Reason through feelings of guilt after feeling maybe just a little bit too proud of themselves for having brushed their teeth consistently for a few days in a row. Deep Fear 1 of unknown origin. Maintain work productivity after cringing at memories of events which took place decades ago. Come up with viable reasons that their friends might begin disliking them in the near future. Come up with viable reasons that their friends might have started disliking them already. Come up with viable reasons that their projected non-friends' projected dislike of them would be justified. Deep Ponderings 1 related to Deep Fear 1 of unknown origin. Deep Fear 2 of an intelligibly different origin than Deep Fear 1, which is still of unknown origin. Go for a walk. Deep Ponderings 2, see Deep Ponderings 1. Not turning home from the walk. After walking by a nice-looking couple and reflecting on their own level of happiness versus that couple's level of happiness, the player's avatar infers them to have, typically, much happier. Often, the minigame mechanics were recursively designed, though iterable, so they could easily and quickly be solved. But the level of difficulty also depends on core gameplay mechanic, the mood meter. The overall goal for a successful playthrough is simply to keep the mood meter high. The game is played one day at a time. And successfully navigating this vast number of WarioWare style minigames leads to a successful night's rest for the avatar, while failing either leads to insomnia, self-medication, and sometimes mania. A lower mood meter makes the minigames more difficult. If it drops below 25%, timing required for the button presses and quick time events is all but impossible, as player input will not register instantaneously in the on-screen avatar. This mechanic is meant to simulate how some acute depressive symptoms are often self-reported by sufferers, as though they are in a dream, wading through mud, or carrying a large conversational weight, making them just slow-witted enough to register conversational cues just a few moments too late. followed by feelings of embarrassment. This entire situation confirming the premise that implicitly haunts their mind, I am abnormal. During this inference, conversation is shifted yet again. Another cue was also missed. However, it would be embarrassing to mention this at a casual work event, and so they must press on. Minigames are randomized in both order and rule set in order to teach the player to mimic the psychotic and depressed. That is, to train the player to reflexively make the inferences that form the seemingly nigh-permanent and seemingly totally individual avoidance structures typical for how the psychotically depressed think and behave, according to what was, at the time, the most up-to-date cognitive neuroscience, which Mark David Chapman majored in during his graduate career. The final mechanic of the mood meter is the randomizer. Successfully passing the minigame will increase the mood meter 80% of the time. But the other 20% of the time, passing a minigame will halve the percentage of the mood meter. If the player fails consistently and the mood meter reliably drops by roughly 5%. Mark David Chapman is the author of this particular wrinkle of the rule set, and chuckled as he explained, "We're discouraging exploratory behavior. It's so obvious," as Jonathan and David glared at him. Though Depression Simulator showed promise, its mini-games were well designed, they didn't really hit as a standalone product until the launch of a fan-made mod, Comorbid Anxiety Simulator. Published during the COVID pandemic of 2020, the meta was finally set in place for the speedrunning community of Depression Simulator. This expansion added new mini-games in the vein of those previously listed, but the most important new features were the energy and isolation meters, which complemented the aforementioned mood meter. All three meters offered players a more consistent feedback for which of the three possible endings players were likely to acquire. These being 1, the long living or quote LOL unquote ending, where the avatar dies of natural causes. 2, the sectioned ending, where the player avatar is committed to a hospital or psychiatric institution. And 3, the game over or go ending, where it is implied that the player avatar committed suicide. Each ending had its own community of enthusiasts. The go ending was by far the most popular, as it could be completed in the shortest amount of time. The section ending was more tricky, as it required that players maintained enough of a social and financial safety net to ensure that the avatar's friends would care enough to notice their low meter status and intervene in their life, which was tricky as isolation plays an important role in lowering avatar morale. The game over or go speedrun ending was achieved by simply increasing all three meters as high as possible, because at that stage, the life of the avatar was both entirely subject to their own private reasoning processes. Increased isolation randomizes mood due to over-reflection and over-projection for the avatar. And at this point, the avatar has a high enough energy level to fully commit to mood-guided action. Success in these mini-games affects the energy bar. So if the player avatar has a high mood meter, which undergoes a random reversal, the go ending is likely to be achieved. YouTuber Carl Yost currently holds the fastest time, but he declined for entry. Regardless, it wasn't until the COVID pandemic that live Twitch streams of Depression Simulator were popularized, and the third type of Depression Simulator streamer entered the fray. The Twitch streamer groups class themselves according to which ending they strive for. fast pressioners, or FPs, whose goal it was to get the fastest game over screen, was to get a. So the goal of full pressioners was a 100% complete or good ending, though in Depression Simulator, the percent of completion is hard capped at 85%. Section pressioners formed a small subset of the community, and their goal was, naturally, to achieve section ending. While these three classes of streamers do cover all the types of ending Depression Simulator offers to players, a fourth group also came to the fore, the true pressioners. It was the actions of one particular member of this final group, which consisted of Twitch streamers that lived their lives alongside that of their avatar, mimicking their movements and behaviors in a sort of quasi-reality television show for viewers, which led to the eventual dissolution of the Depression Simulator community, the removal of Depression Simulator from the Steam Online store, and the retirement of all three developers.
Sam, that's fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant, Sam. I think you did read an earlier draft of this, but there are a lot of details in this version that I don't remember from before, either because I forgot them or because they're new. And as Rudy said in the chat, that what blows me away about this piece is just how accurately it portrays the way speedrun communities work. And it also gets at something of like, and this may just be me speaking for myself, but the weird symbiotic relationship between depression and speedrunning. And not simply like the one you describe in the story, but like that there is that the way that like the social isolation of the pandemic and the like fragile mental health situation bred by the pandemic coincided with the rise of like speedrunning, not simply as a hobby, but as this kind of passive thing that a lot of people suddenly got into watching on YouTube. Like there's something about that isn't coincidental. And this story really, like, I think gets at that in a hilarious way. I also love your description of simulation games as being basically job training. I thought that was hilarious. And man, it's just this is an ingenious fucking work. This is one of those pieces where, like, if only Misery Tourism was still here, we totally would have poached this before Vanny got his grubby hands on it. Oh, also, can you put the link in the chat so that Rudy can tweet it out?
Yeah, I already tweeted the link.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, Sam, that is really, really amazing. And I like the development studio that worked on this game, which consisted of Lara Kaczynski and Mark David Chapman. That was Praxis Games. But no, this was really, like, I like the details you put in the mechanics too, especially the mood meter, how it's like semi-random, like in the psycho babble reason that Chapman gives for like basically making it that way, or but the thing I really love is the way you broke down the ending / speedrun communities, because that's like so like it reminds me of like when Undertale came out, like how all the people that did the genocide runs and the the peace runs or whatever, and like how communities formed at that time around like identities related to those things. It's like, oh, if you do a genocide run, you're this type of person, or if you do a peace run, you're that. I'd say maybe you perfectly captured that with a lot of this, and obviously like the conceit of it perfectly captures that. It's just a really interesting.
Yeah, and so many games are like that. Like, so many speedrun games have separate leaderboards for people pursuing different endings and outcomes, like any percent, fucking 100% full completion, like this ending, that ending. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful.
I also like the name of it, Depression Simulator, because there's actually a game already called Depression Simulator, not Depression Quest, which is Zoe Quinn's game, but there's
Oh,
actually
my brother said there was a game called Depression Quest when I
yeah,
showed him that story.
yeah, yep, there is a Depression Quest, but there's actually a game that I found when I Googled Depression Simulator that it is actually it looks like basically somebody it's in development right now, I guess. And the person is looking for collaborators, so you should jump on, Sam.
I'll see what I can do.
Or you should sue them.
Yeah,
Either way.
or they should sue you. I don't know.
Man, that was a great one, man. Thanks so much. Does anyone else, Rudy, has anyone said anything in the chat that they want to read, or are we gonna end it here?
I don't see anybody said anything.
Okay, going once, going twice. Yeah, fuck it, we're done. Well, thank you to everyone who read. This was another great night.
Wait, I have some excerpts of the thing. This is just 3 paragraphs.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, hang on, let me find it. It's about it's a literary criticism of Moby Dick, but the guy writing it is using Moby Dick as an analog for why it's not weird at all for them to have such an intimate knowledge of age of consent laws across the United States. Hang on. For me, Moby Dick is about how it isn't weird of me, how it isn't weird for me to know so much about the age of consent laws across all 50 states and various sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asian countries. Ishmael's breadth of knowledge displayed in the cytology chapter parallels my own knowledge of the age of consent laws in all 50 states. And it definitely parallels my situation in that most people skip that chapter, the same way they ask me to please stop talking about the specifics of age of consent laws in Tennessee versus Indiana versus Kentucky versus Thailand when I am at a work event. The erasure which Ishmael undergoes in the presence of Queequeg mimics the erasure my expertise undergoes when I am discussing the subtleties of parental consent in cases where one of the parties is 16 or 17 years old in the states of Ohio, Illinois, Montana, when I am having dinner with a potential partner's parents for the first time and they ask me to leave and to please cease all farther correspondence. That's it. That's it.
Oh, okay. Sam, yeah, I want this piece to be as long as Moby Dick when you're done. No, this is a fucking brilliant concept. Hilariously executed so far. You need to finish this piece, Sam. Oh my God. Oh, I was dying after like sentence 2. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. This is really fucking funny. And I love the comparison of the like the density, let's say, of Moby Dick and the density of detail in Moby Dick and how this guy uses it to rationalize his own personal area of expertise.
He has to be a good Moby Dick scholar for it to be funny.
Oh, you know what? That's perfect. Like, if I feel like that was the perfect piece to end the night on. Somehow
Hell's Heart I Stab It B.
Somehow it drew all of the threads from tonight's readings together, let's say. All right, okay, that's it. We're closing down for real now. As usual, I'm not gonna make it through the outro here. Okay, I need to get my shit together. As usual, I will leave the chat open so people can hang out. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, this has been Misery Loves Company. We do this every fucking Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Anyone is welcome to come and share their work. Anyone's welcome to come and just hang out, as long as you don't fucking troll. Anyway, it's been a great night. Lots of awesome pieces. Thank you to everyone who read. Okay, that's it. Fuck it.